Hello and welcome to Life Science class. This is your first day of school, and just sit back in your desk and relax and listen to some of the things that we're going to be doing today. I know some of you aren't actually here, but you can listen anyway. First of all, here are some supplies that you might need for science class. You will need a composition book, which looks like this right here. It's a marbled notebook. The second thing you will need is a writing utensil that works. A crayon is just fine as long as you can read it. You will want some paper. Earphones or headbuds would be good for watching videos. That way you do not disrupt the rest of your family. A highlighter or highlighters would be helpful when you're taking notes to highlight things. Some place to keep your science things, a binder or a folder. And that's the basic list you'll need. Now, for those of you who are not going to be coming to school, the other thing that you will have at home will be a life science textbook. And that will be a good resource for you. If you have the internet, you probably do not need that. But if you do not, that will be your main source of information for your life science class. This is just a little bit about me. You can read about it later. I'm Mr. Yoder. I have a wife and a son who starts his second year of college, or started, I guess, his second year of college here in September. We live in Harrisonburg. My job as your teacher is the following: treating you with respect, giving you information and direction, planning activities and assignments, answering questions that help you find information, and then finally assessing the quality of your work. All of that is what's called facilitating your learning, helping you to learn. I've already learned it all. I don't need to learn it again, but it's your turn to learn, and it's my job to help you in learning. For those of you in class, this is an important one because that way you can help yourself as well as helping others. You ask three people three things before you ask me. You ask your friends, you ask Google, and you ask YouTube, because those are all good sources of information. If you're at home learning by yourself, please ask those three before you contact me and see if you can find the answer that way. If you can, that's great. If you can't, then please ask me, because I am also a resource. So if you are in class, these are some of the things that we will be doing: collecting information. We will not be singing, but we will be humming along to songs and listening to songs, watching videos. We'll do some Quizlet and Quizlet Live, Kahoots, and then we'll be doing some work, writing paragraphs, making graphs, making slide decks, taking tests and probes. Those are all things that we will do for those people who are in class. If you're not in class, guess what? You'll be doing many of those same things, but you'll be just doing them on your own instead of here at school. Some of the class rules: following directions is an important one, and just highlighting up here in the corner, this year one of the directions might have to do with wearing a mask, depending on what class you're in and which classroom and how many people there are in class and how much space there are. That will be an important part of our first semester. Listening when someone is talking, being prepared for class, and I do allow you to have food and water in class, but please let me know, and then I can give you permission to have that at your desk in your space. If you're working at home, your parents can tell you what you can do and what you can't do while you're doing your schoolwork. You can even chew gum, I suppose, when you're at home. You have permission from me if it's okay with your parents. So at this point, we would pull out our songbooks and we will sing. And I'm going to be posting right here a video of me singing this song called Songs of Life Science. So look for that if it's not there yet. It will be coming soon. In your lab book, we will be making tabs in your lab book. And the tabs in your lab book are very important for keeping track of information. A tab is going to look like this, And I apologize to you if you can't read it because it's backwards, but this is what a tab's going to look like. It's something that's folded over that creates a difference between this section and the next section, which happens to be, in this case, genetics. For our ecology notes, we're going to be making tabs in the back and actually using the tabs backwards. You'll be writing on the back side of the page because we'll be doing ecology in among the other things we're doing, and we don't want it to be mixed in with the other things that we're learning. So how do you make a tab like this? Well, it's fairly simple. If I just go to a blank page right here, I'm going to take the top of my paper, if I can get it. I'm going to take the top of my paper, I'm going to fold it in until it reaches the center. And then I'm going to crease that like so. And then I'm going to take the bottom edge. You see, I take the bottom edge and I fold it in along the center, and it makes a triangular tab, just like that. So that's how you make a tab. And the first one you need to make is the one for Unit 1. And you can see there is a tab made there for Unit 1 called the Unit 1 tab. On that tab, you will be putting the topics that we'll be covering for Unit 1. You will find those in Schoology. Those are the different folders that you'll find in the Unit 1 tab. Or if you're not on Schoology and you're just using paper and pencil, you can look for those tabs in the different topics that we'll be covering on the calendar. So each day you'll be writing on a page in your lab book. And this is the information you're going to be writing, but I'm going to go to the page where you're actually going to write it. You put the topic at the top. You put the date on the right-hand side that you studied it. Here's where you write your notes. These are the main ideas and concepts of the lesson. So if our lesson is about reproduction in cells, you're going to have notes about mitosis, and you're going to have notes about the different phases of mitosis, and maybe write something about the purple monkey of mitosis. Some of those things is what you'll be writing. After you get done with all of your notes, you need to come up with a couple of questions. Questions about the topic. This is, if you were making a quiz or a test for this section, what would be the questions that you would ask on this quiz? What's the most important thing that needs to be known? As you're writing the main ideas and concepts, it's important to write the vocabulary words down. But you do not need to write definitions because those are in Quizlet. So you do not need to just write the full definitions. I would encourage you to highlight those words, and I would encourage you to put something next to them. A word, draw a picture, something that will help you to remember them. But not necessarily the whole definition, because you'll find that in Quizlet, and there's no reason to make another copy of that if you already have it. Down at the bottom of the page is where you write questions that you still don't have answers for, that you need answers for about this topic. Or if you say, I've got it, I know exactly what we're talking about with reproduction in cells, then you write, I understood everything today. And that basically gives you an idea that you understood what that topic was. And if you said something and put a question here, please make sure to contact me and get those questions answered. You can put it in your daily check. You can send me an email. You can send me a message through Schoology. Lots of different ways to get in touch with me. We will at some point be using Chromebooks. That's for everybody. Eventually, there will be Chromebooks for everyone. Just remember, if you're using the Chromebook, whether it's yours or whether it belongs to the school, remember your logins or remember where you keep your logins. Use the resource wisely. Do not think, oh, I'm on a Chromebook. I can just look for this assignment and copy and paste it and put it in, and Mr. Yoder will never know the difference. It's pretty obvious when the assignment is done, whether it's done by you or whether it was done by some textbook company that put out the information that you might have used. Seventh graders speak differently than people who have the degrees that make those textbooks. So please use the resource wisely. Search things, find things, use YouTube, use Google, but be careful of plagiarism. Be careful of copying from someone else's work. You're allowed to use pictures and copy and paste them as long as you let me or whoever's reading the information know that you got that from a specific website. And I promise you did not find it at Google. You might have gotten to the picture from Google, but you did not find it on google.com. All of you have seen what google.com looks like. It's got Google on it and a place for you to search. That's it. That's the only thing that you'll find there. So find the actual website where the picture comes from and tell where that was. Obviously, you want to keep food and drink away from the computers to keep them safe. Music. Whether you're in class or whether you're at home, sometimes it is good to be able to use music to help you to concentrate, to block out noise from other sources. If you're using them in school, I do ask that you use headphones or earbuds. Whether you're using it at school or at home, it's always good to make a playlist, because you do not need to be, after every song, going back to YouTube or back to Spotify or back to whatever it is that you are listening to try to readjust or change. This should be something that helps you work. There are YouTube playlists and there are YouTube, even YouTube videos that have hours of music. Try to find those so that it's something that's just in the background that helps you work. If you are in school, in class, and you misuse this privilege, then there's a possibility that you can lose the privilege of using music. But music can be a very powerful thing to help you concentrate. When I do this, I listen to music, but I listen to music often without words, because that way I don't have other words going through my mind while I'm trying to learn the concepts that I'm learning. This year we'll be using Schoology. And if you've found this video, you've probably found Schoology already. Schoology is kind of like Google Classroom. It's a place where you can get your lessons. It's a place where you can get your assignments. You can turn things in. There are announcements. Please keep an eye on what's in Schoology and on due dates, because that's where everything will be posted. And you'll have stuff from all of your classes in Schoology, all in one spot. If you need help with Schoology, please ask. There will be some training times that we will be having next week. So next week. Depends when you watch this video, I guess. But September 8th and 9th, if you would like to have some help with Schoology. If you missed those times and still need some help, please contact me and I can walk you through what I know about Schoology. Some computer things that you need to know. A Google document is like a piece of paper. You write things on it. You can add pictures and other graphics, but it's mainly a page of writing. We use the hamburger paragraph format in science. That is a one-sentence introduction. Then you tell about the different things that are the body of your paragraph. And then you follow that up with a one-sentence conclusion, which sums up what you just wrote about. The second thing we'll be using is something called Google Slides. That's what you're looking at right now. Google Slides, it's best to use bullets. I've got bullets here on my Google Slides. It's best to have pictures and graphics. Please, no paragraphs. This is not a place for paragraph. It's a place for just a few words. Maybe every now and then you will have a complete sentence, but this is not a place to do writing. That would be a Google Doc. Google Sheets is a place where you have rows and columns where you can place information. You can use it to make charts or tables, and then you can use those charts and tables to actually make graphs. And it's a very powerful thing for collecting data and using that data to make decisions. Google Classroom, we may or may not use that this semester in science. Right now, we're not going to. But if we do, it would be a place where you would look for assignments and possibly some directions for those assignments. Quizlet, I spoke a lot about Quizlet in another video that I made, so please watch that. But Quizlet is a vocabulary tool, and it will be very important for helping you to learn the vocabulary for science this semester. If you know your Quizlet vocabulary, if you're good with that, the concepts will come a lot easier because you know the words and you understand them. So that is just a little bit of an introduction for what we're going to be doing in science this semester. There are 2 assignments that kind of go along with this first day or first couple days of science. The first one is to make a page that tells me about you. I showed you one that had me and my family and some of my interests on the first slide of this slide deck. If you do not have access to Google Slides, you can just take a sheet of paper and you can write or draw or copy pictures out of, or cut and paste pictures out of magazines or other places where you can make a page to add to our kind of get to know each other Google slide deck. And then what I will do is I'll take a picture of it and I will add that to the slide deck where everyone else will be posting their information. The second assignment, and you'll see both of these in Schoology, but I just want to talk about them so that you understand them, is a paragraph. It would be best to write it in Google Docs, or you could put it on a sheet of paper. That would be fine. The paragraph basically asks, or the question for the paragraph, the topic is, what are 3 things you like about science? I do not want you to write about science class. I want you to write about science. And I don't want you to tell me that you like frogs because they're cool or because they're fun or because you like them. Please give me some details. What specifically is it that you like about 3 of the different topics that you may have already learned about or that you've heard you're going to learn about in science class? And that assignment then will be turned in, and I will get to know you a little bit better because of those 2 assignments. So, have a great day and start studying your science.